Hi there, Mr. Brian here. It's a beautiful day. I just want to share some words of encouragement, some words of motivation, and some words of inspiration your way, so as to help you go through all that may be holding you back from moving in a positive direction, all that may be holding you back from actually going ahead to do what you would love to really do. And so one of the biggest problems we face in life is that we get stuck in a loop, and this loop consists of like three elements, and these elements are indecision, procrastination, and doubt. And so we find ourselves repeating the same thing over and over a day, over and over again. And so it could simply just start by you maybe just waking up a little bit late in a day, and you go ahead to your office or to your job place, to your business site, and find out that your mood is not really as energetic as you would have loved it to be. And so you find out that you're not very polite at the time. You don't speak like politely to people. You're a little bit rude and things like that. But you're not quite sure what is causing you to feel that way. And so you just go on with it, and you find out that the day goes by. You pretty have like an unproductive day. I wouldn't say. I know you did some work in the office, or maybe wherever you were, but you could not find yourself actually controlling your activities. You actually had like some sense of control of what you were doing, and just so you found yourself just doing things up and down. And at this moment in time, you go back to the house, and maybe the things that you had planned that you were going to do after work, you now procrastinate and say, okay man, I'm going to do it tomorrow. And so you find yourself doing that over and over again. You keep repeating that with different excuses, trying to just push things. And it all started because you probably didn't wake up when you were on time. And so it's always necessary that you always come back to your routine. What is it that you used to do that kept you going, that gave you that energy that you had, that gave you that drive to want to like complete the whole week, do everything that week and be productive that week? And so you have to look at those moments and find out what was it that made you had that energy, that you were going, when life was going for you. What is it that you had right? What is it that you had done right? And so when you go back and look at those things, and you see that do you find that there's a mistake somewhere? There's you could say an error in the code where you made a bad decision. It's probably you postponed something, and that's when things started falling in place, and other things started going bad, and you started procrastinating, and you just found yourself in a situation where you really don't have any control over anything. You feel so pissed and so let down by yourself. Like you feel like the world is gonna crumble. Like you feel like the whole world is gonna come down soon. And it's a loop that a lot of us get into it many times in life. And it always is always good that we look at things from the perspective of where did I go wrong, because if you do not see life as though you went wrong, like your decisions were a part of your suffering, you will not be able to take like very, very valuable lessons that life has to offer, because you have to see that you are contributing to life. And so every decision that you make, everything that you make always affects the overall balance or the overall outcome. And so if you decide to postpone what you have to do today for tomorrow, you also have to know that the reward that you're expecting, or whatever it is that has to come out from that, or whatever it is that has to actually start growing, you've also extended like the day for it to happen. And so it's really necessary that we remind ourselves and say, okay, I started the week like this. What is it that I did not do right in this place? Where did I fall short? It's There are very small things that we do that go ahead to like cause this really big impact, where we feel let down. We do not have energy to move forward. And so we really need to pay attention to them, because it's not something really big. It's just a what do you say, just that consistency in those small things that actually compound to become like that big force that you feel that is preventing you from moving forward in life. And so we need to pay attention to those small things. I'll just give an example for like myself. I actually wanted to start this week like very energetic, going everything, getting everything done. But today is Wednesday, and I found myself not being able to have even completed any good amount of work on my to-do list. And so I had to like go back again and start thinking like, okay, where did I go wrong in this week's plan? And I found out that I had gotten off my morning routine. And that really broke like the whole plan, because once you get off routine, once you get off those things that actually keep you in check, there is nothing else to keep you in check. And so you find yourself just keep going, you're just doing things anyhow. And it's really good that you remind yourself, you always put systems in place to cater for your mental ability, to cater for your mental capability, to cater to help you to become like a self-controlled person, to be able to conquer yourself, to be able to say, okay, this is where I went wrong, and this is how I need to get back to doing these things. Like, it's so crazy and funny that even before this video had to be made, like a lot of things have gone like around, and I've procrastinated. I've given excuses. I say, okay, maybe this mic. I have three mics in the house. Just one wasn't working, and I felt like, okay, the whole plan has spoiled. I cannot make the video. But I was asking myself again, like, is it because that mic isn't working that you're not really going to make this video? So I just laughed at myself and said, like, this is how we really go ahead to try to give excuses every single day for not being able to actually offer the value that we need to offer. I just want you to ask yourself all the time and say, what is it that is more important what is it that you want to do later that is more important than what you're doing now? And so you always have to keep that in mind, because if you are able to find out that thing that is more important that you have to do later than what you're doing now, it means that you've been able to actually find where your priority should lie. And so if you have something that is more important than what you're doing now and you're not doing it, it means that there's a problem. It means that it's a problem because you do not have a priority list, and you're never going to get anything done if you do not have a priority list. It's very fundamental. Like, each step is built on another, and so there are steps that should be on a high priority in your life. There are things that should be on a high priority in your life. If you do not have the high priority list to control yourself, to be able to keep you in check, you are going to have a lot of issues. You're going to face a lot of difficulties going through life, because you will not be able to actually give your priority to anything. You will not have anything that you would be, you'll be in control of. A lot of things will take your time, you'll be easily distracted. And so it's to break out of that distraction, to break out of that moment where you find yourself doing the same thing. I also have issues sometimes where I go on like the Instagram and the Facebooks, and I find myself like really scrolling, and I'm looking at the feed, and I'm really watching like, what is it that I'm scrolling through exactly? What is it that I'm scrolling through? I can't find any content here that that is yeah. So we find ourselves like keep scrolling, 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 and we want to look like for 1 hour, 40 minutes you've been scrolling, and you see all that time, and you're wondering like, where did that time go? But that is some time that if you would have taken to do the work that you had planned, but just because you wanted just 5 minute gratification, just 2 minutes gratification, just to look at one real video or one funny comedy, it goes into two, it goes into three, it goes into four. And once it's four and you'll not be able to cover up for the work that you had to do, you start pushing it ahead, you start procrastinating, and then you start feeling really, really low and wondering, like, where did things go wrong? Why did this happen to me? And things like that. But you start doubting, like, am I going to be able to achieve my dreams? But all these things are things that are self inflicted, and it takes you alone to really break out of this loop. It takes you to really have the courage, to really have the understanding, to really know that life is very, very tough, and you really need to be mentally capable. You really need to be mentally strong to be able to handle life. You really need to be able to control yourself, because if you cannot control yourself, you are in a very, very big problem, like a very, very big problem. Like, you will not be able to achieve anything in life if you cannot control yourself, because everything starts from controlling yourself, and the only way to control yourself is to take charge of your mind. If you cannot dream high, you will not be able to rise. If you cannot think about peace, if you cannot see the possibilities, if you cannot imagine peace, you will not be able to be peaceful. And so you have to be able to cultivate every single thing that you desire, every single thing that you wish to see out there in your mind first. The garden has to grow first in your mind before you can ever see the physical equivalent. If you do not think about what you plan to achieve, if you do not think about the things that you want to do, if you do not think about the plans that you're going to put in place, if you do not think about how you're going to build yourself up to be able to attain, to receive whatever blessings that you're asking from God, if you do not put yourself up to think that you can have a good connection with God, if you do not think that you can be able to do it, it's never going to be possible as well. You cannot get what you're not asking for. And so you have to ask. You have to work for it. You have to be in it. You have to enjoy the process. You have to live life as if you are part of life. And life is part of you. You and life as one. Life is not fighting you. You are not fighting life. You are just walking together. You're only a vessel for everything that life has to offer. And so you have to start seeing yourself as that vessel. What is it that you carry that you have to give the world? What is it that you carry that you have to put in as a seed to make life's purpose come to play? How are you contributing to the advancement of the world through your small, small decisions you're making every day? How are you contributing? How are you pushing yourself forward? every single day? How do you catch yourself doing bad habits? How do you try to remedy your bad habits? How do you try to fix them? How do you try to build good habits? We need to be strong. And we need to believe that it's possible. We need to know that it's possible to say, I can take charge of my life today and do it. Before I could break out recently from this loop, just very, very recent, this week, like I said, I had to watch a David Goggins video, motivational video, and I had to see how he really pushed himself, and there was also this guy, I think some comedy skit of him where there was um, this animated thing that was done about Elon Musk taking people to the Mars and to Mars, and so he took a lot of people there. And while they got to Mars, they were like, they're the first human beings to get on Mars. They saw somebody jogging and running by, and that was David Goggins. And and David Goggins was like, "Oh, you guys are here. Welcome to Mars." And he's like, Joe Rogan is asking him like, where are you running to? He's like, I'm going to Jupiter. See you there. And so David Goggins has that energy of always being positive, always taking charge, and always doing that. So when I watched him yesterday and some of the things he explained, some of the things he had gone through, I was really understood how you take back of your life. You take back charge of your life. You take back charge of your attention. You take back charge of your time and commit it to what you want to do. What is it that is so important for you that you're procrastinating and said, I want to do it later? What is it that is so important to do later that you're not doing it now? You should be doing it now. What are you doing now? What are you doing now with your time? I really want to wish you like the best in the endeavor to really conquer yourself, because it's a very, very tough journey. It's a very, very crazy journey. You cannot believe how tough it is. All those who walk the path know how tough it is. But it's the journey that brings the greatest joy, the greatest satisfaction, the greatest fulfillment in life. Because you really see how your life is connected to everything that is happening in the universe. And you can see your contributions every single day. When you don't even make contributions to the advancement of the universe plans, you feel so let down. You feel bad. You feel that you've disappointed yourself and the plans of God. Because we are here to serve. I really enjoy coming out and speaking like this, because if I'm this person today who is outgoing and who seems a little bit wise and who seems like is someone who is able, who knows what he's talking about, who is able to push himself to be all that I am, to be able to control myself, to be able to even give this value, to be able to even sit here, is because I always listen when people talk to me. I always listened, and so I got a lot of life lessons passed down to me. I learned a lot through people, because people spoke to me and They changed my whole perspective on how I should be looking at life, right from a young age. And so it's possible that someone out there needs your voice, needs to hear from you, for them to go ahead and become all that they can be. It's possible. That is why we all are here. To learn from each other, to push each other, to build together, to cooperate, and not to fight. How are we humans if we are fighting against each other? How do we take another person's life? How do you sit and wake up and take another person's life? Where is that thought coming from? How are we not working on solving problems like poverty? How are we not working on providing the best health care everywhere? How has our attention just shifted so drastically? I just want to share with you some of the things I do when I find myself out of routine to get back to routine. And so what I do is I always try to clean my house first, because it takes a lot of dedication and willpower to do that, and I think everybody believes that too. Like, for them to wake up and really clean their house, it's something that people always leave for, like a day when they have most time, like they have most of the time to do everything, like a Saturday weekend. And so people want to clean their house like on a weekend, do all their stuff on a weekend. But if you can break that loop and say, okay, I'm not doing it on the weekend, I'm going to clean it now, today. If you're able to take that energy to do it today, just to get yourself committed in cleaning your house only, it's beneficial, because it's your house. Your house is going to get clean. You're going to get a good sense of seeing your house clean, and then you feel good again. And also, it's going to put you in a steady mood of work where you can concentrate for at least an hour, because you'll be in here doing this, trying to arrange these things while you're cleaning and all that. And so you're getting yourself like focused and building focus again. So that is how I do it sometimes. And once I do that, I stand and look at what I've done, and look at the job I've done, and say, okay, this is good job. And what do? I go back and I take a shower. Then I come back and sit and get back on my to-do list. What was it that I was working on before I got out of routine? I get back on it. No excuse, nothing whatsoever. I get back on it and I start doing it again. And I find out things start getting better, things start unfolding, things start relaxing up, and I start seeing things clearly, and I'm able to start fixing, putting things together, and moving forward, making some advancement. It's so sad that we really have to fight this battle every day, but it's rewarding as well, because it builds you. If you're able to go ahead and overcome your challenges every day, you're able to go ahead and catch yourself sleeping. Yeah, man, that's a life you should want to live. You should be able to catch yourself sleeping. You should be able to catch yourself giving excuses. Each time I find myself trying to give excuses, I laugh at myself so badly, because it's so petty. It's so petty for me to want to give excuse that I do not want to do something which is rewarding for me first. You know you're going to feel okay, you know you're going to feel happy, you know you're going to feel fulfilled when you do that stuff, but you do not want to do it. You give excuse, you find time to go and relax and say, okay, let me get my mojo back on. What mojo? You're killing the mojo. You're killing the mojo. And so I really hope that you find yourself, you conquer yourself, and God blesses you with wisdom. If you can ask for one thing from God, ask for wisdom. Because God's wisdom, when it's given down to you, is the greatest thing that you can ever have in life. It's power to be wise. God-given wiseness. It's power. And so you have to believe it. You have to yearn for it. You have to cry for it. You have to crave. You have to be hungry for it. You have to get hungry. Because when you do, you see life in all its beauty.